Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because of the fact that normally I'm coaching young women in different areas of their life, but today this is going to apply to everyone. Now, typically I would be going into my nice little intro, but today I want to get straight to the point. Let's talk about overcoming trauma, and I want to highlight 4 points on how we can do that. And what I'm praying for is that by the end of this video, if this resonates for you, that you take that first step towards healing, towards getting on the better side of things, and towards changing the trajectory of your life. When we look up the word trauma in the dictionary, it's described as a deeply disturbing or distressing experience. And these experiences can come in the form of physical violence, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, or even the family dynamic. And today I want to focus on the family dynamic, mainly because I have a lot of experience in that. And it's something that we all go through. And I feel that it tends to lend to the other forms of traumatic experiences that we may encounter as a result of that. So, if you've been following me for a little bit, you probably noticed that I'm not shy in talking about some of the most challenging and difficult moments in my life thus far, and especially when it comes to my family. But here's the thing, I don't share these things in order to make people look bad or to throw them under the bus. I share them because people like you need to hear it, not just for information's sake, but to see that I am a walking testament of what it means to be the better version. So if you're sitting there thinking that, oh, this happened to me and that happened to me, and there'll probably be no way of getting over it, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. If you want to change, you will change. And one of the first things that I want to highlight about that change and walking into that change is acknowledgement. Acknowledging what has happened to you and that it is very real to you, despite what anyone says, how anyone may want to trivialize it. If it's real to you, then it's real, period. So, one of the first things that I recognized when I digged deeper into understanding where some of these traumatic experiences came from was looking at my family dynamics. So, pretty much some of the patterns that occurred not just only in my immediate household, but my whole family by extension, right? So, one of the first things, if you come from the Caribbean or your family comes from the Caribbean, you'll notice that people tend to yell and call it talking. And that was something that was very sensitive for me. That any heightened volume in your communication sent my nervous system out of whack. And as a result of that, I was referred to as too sensitive, too soft. Oh, your feelings get hurt too easily. But the point of the matter was, without them really recognizing in some degrees that their communication style was not agreeable with me, and they did not have the awareness to make adjustments. Because now you've got to think about that area of the world and how children regard their parents. In my generation, I don't know about this generation, but in my generation, in my mother's generation, and prior to that, you were the child. That's it. You didn't have any feelings, you didn't have any opinions, you didn't have any thoughts, and don't you dare express them. And so when your immediate household is like that, and by extension, the rest of your family is like that, that is a pattern of behavior that is passed down from generation to generation to generation. So the question becomes for you now, what kind of patterns do you recognize within your family that were not agreeable with you? not because you wanted to be disagreeable, but because maybe it sent your nervous system out of whack. Maybe it made you feel such a way that you weren't loved or you didn't belong or that you were burdened. That is something worth investigating. Once you've acknowledged that, maybe there's some things that haven't really been the greatest as far as patterns are concerned, or maybe even your environment, and now you're looking to make some significant and positive changes, what's the next step? Well, I would suggest the next step being finding support. How do you find that support? What is support? My number one thing to advocate for is therapy. Now, I've gone through therapy quite a number of times, and I may continue to go through therapy in the future. But here's the thing. Therapy, I would want to believe in 2025 is no longer a taboo topic, and it's a number one recommendation across the board for everyone. Because what you're doing in this moment is unpacking, unlearning, relearning, and adopting new habits, new patterns. And that comes through conversation, further acknowledgement, how in that acknowledgement, these certain patterns have played a part in your life and where you're at this moment. And it's not a blame game. It's about taking away the shame of what you've gone through, understanding how it played out and how it led to that. That is the most liberating thing that you can give to yourself. And I also want to add on to this because I've never heard anyone say this, at least for what I know, and that there's no deadline for therapy. If you want to do therapy for a year, do it for a year. You want to do it for 5, do it for 5. If you want to do it for the rest of your life, do that. If you just want to check in because now there's something else that you want to unpack, do that. No one is holding it against you. No one is expecting you to be 100% healed. It's impossible. It's impossible. So take away the self-judgment. Take away this assumption that people want you to be a certain way and start thinking about, how do you want to dictate your life? How do you want to show up in the world? That's important because you want to show up as authentic as possible. And the people who need to be around you will be around you. So once you found that support, my number 3 suggestion or highlight point is to focus on change. Now, this is the heavy lifting. And trust me, your girl knows all about it because I remember when I first started doing therapy, there were moments where I just did not want to show up at my appointments because I was pretty much in a depression. And so it's hard to feel motivated to step out of the house when you're feeling so dejected, so weighed down, so down in the dumps. But I still want to encourage you to stay focused on the change. So that can come in the form of an accountability partner or an accountability group. It can come in the form of, what are the top 3 new habits that you want to adopt? What do you have to do in order to embody that? And staying focused on that, even if it's doing one thing. And also mentally stepping into that new version of you. And what can that look like? That can look like speaking positively into your life. Even if you don't necessarily believe it 100%, if you have at least 1%, that 1% can do a multitude of things, because then tomorrow you can add on another percent and another percent and another percent. So I just want to, again, encourage you to stay focused on changing because you can. I am evidence of that. So this last and final point is a spiritual one, and I want to preface it with this. You can do all the things and sometimes you may feel like this one thing is missing. And this is the part where I want to invite you to include God in the process. It's not to say that, oh, therapy can't help you, or, doing significant changes in your life can't help. They do. They do. I just sat here and shared that with you. However, when you include God in the process, there's a peace that can come over you that even when you're going through the most difficult trials in your life, you know that you're not alone. And I don't want to over exaggerate it or overstretch it. There's so many moments that I share in different videos of how God has played a significant role in my moving forward. But that's my last encouragement to you, is to invite God into the process. That is a personal choice. I'm sitting here in front of you as a living testament of what it means to invite God into the process, because I've mentioned it in different videos before on my social media. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. And my gratitude for just being here, for being able to raise a child in recognizing who God is and how he plays a role in our life. Like, I would have never imagined that, because I wasn't supposed to be here. So I may not have gone through the same things that you've gone through, but I know that it means something to you and it's significant. And that's just the last piece that I want to leave with you, is inviting God into that process. I mean, there's nothing to lose by asking for his help, because I know the peace that can come into your life, because I'm experiencing it right now. So I pray that this video has resonated with you in the most profound way possible, and that it's giving you encouragement to take that step forward, or even to just try again, because maybe you've tried in the past and it didn't work and you thought all hope was lost. I'm telling you, it is not. I can't emphasize more how much of a living testament I am, and many others out there are. It can happen for you too. So until next time, I'm Corey for TBV Live. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.